So you want to quit your full-time job and start your own business.
Are you crazy?
Well, I'm a little crazy too because I did that exact thing. And for the record, I did it with a wife and 2 kids. So you can definitely do this. How's it going, guys? My name is Michael Tandarich. I run a full-service marketing agency after quitting my full-time job, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, like I said, we are going to talk about how to quit your full-time job and start your own business. And I'm going to go over the 7 things that you need to have in order to take the leap from your full-time job. Now, a little background. I had a full-time job right out of college. I had just got married. We had our first kid. And then about a week before my second kid came, I quit my full-time job and started my business full-time. God bless my wife. I can't believe she allowed me to do that or was okay with me doing that. A lot of the people that you'll see online that quit their full-time job and went and did their own business, well, they're probably typically single. So not a lot of people take that crazy jump when they have a wife and 2 kids. So if there's anyone that knows how risky it is to leave a full-time paying job with benefits and healthcare to go and start your own business without any of that stuff, it's definitely me. So let's get into it. Like I said, there's gonna be 7 things that you need to have in order to take that leap from full-time job into your business full-time. And number 7 is going to be healthcare. So make sure you stick around to the end to figure out what that is, because I know that's an important point. Now, number 1 is working hard. Now, I know this sounds pretty basic and it's like,
Oh, the hustle and being an entrepreneur, you just gotta stay up all night and just work.
But as crazy as it is, it literally is what you have to do in order to leave your full-time job and go into doing your own business. Personally, I'd get home from work around 6 o'clock. I'd have dinner with my wife and kids, and then I'd put them to bed, and I'd immediately go back to work, and I'd work from about 8 to 1 in the morning every single night. No one said that starting your own business, especially when you have a full-time job, wasn't hard, because it is definitely very difficult. Now, another thing I used to do when I had my full-time job is I used to take my lunch break, and instead of eating lunch in the break room with everyone else and just hanging out, I would take that time and try and be as efficient as possible. And I would go in my car and make cold calls to prospects to try and get them as clients. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't able to do this every single day, but it was definitely something that I tried to do at least once or twice a week in order to get those clients rolling so I could bring in the income to get out of my full-time job and go into my business full-time. So number 1 is working ridiculous hours, going above and beyond your full-time job. And obviously you still have to get everything done at your full-time job, but you also then need to try and get a business off the ground. So you're basically carrying 2 full-time jobs within a small 24 hours every single day. Now, number 2 is cash flow. Now, obviously, if you're a single person and you have the ability to stay at your parents or uncles or aunts or something like that, and then you can quit your full-time job and go do that, great. You need to be able to have some kind of cash flow coming in to cover your expenses so you know, okay, once I leave my full-time job, I know these expenses are covered. It's also important to have that cash flow coming in because it's proof to you that your business is actually working instead of thinking,
oh, magically this is going to happen. I'll just stay at mom and dad's house and they'll pay for all my expenses and then my business will start.
And look, if you put yourself into a cushier position, it's definitely going to make it a lot harder to build your business because we're programmed as humans to want to get out of bad situations. So stay in your full-time job and have that cash flow coming in so you can prove to yourself, hey, I know this business is going to work, and hey, I'm in this crappy situation, so I want to get out of it. Now, with the cash flow, I'm not saying it has to cover all your expenses, because that's why we have number 3, which is savings. Now, savings is the money that you have in the bank that you can live off of for the next 6 months to 12 months if everything went to crap. So if your cash flow is coming in and covering majority of your expenses, and then you have your savings kind of covering the last little bit of expenses, but you know, okay, in the next 6 months, I know my business is gonna blow up if I'm not at this full-time job. And so it's not really a worry that you have, then definitely go for it. But if your cash flow is very minimum and you don't really have the savings, I mean, you could go for it and be crazy.
You guys silly? I'm still gonna send it.
But I would highly suggest staying in your full-time job, building up your savings, and proving to yourself that you can bring that cash flow in from the business before taking that big leap. Now, number 4 is additional work. You might not have to do this, but this will be super helpful if it can supplement some of the income from your business. Now, let me give you an example. When I had my full-time job, I was trying to build my client base. It was taking time, but I also figured out that there was this weird little time where everyone wanted a Snapchat geo filter for their wedding. And so on Etsy, I set up a couple listings and people would come to me to design a custom cartoon character of themselves for their wedding reception. And then they would run that geo filter around their wedding reception. Now, I would charge about $50,000 to $70,000. And
$50,000 to $70,000.
obviously, this is a business that is not sustainable. It's not bringing in a ton of money, but it helped me cover a lot of the expenses that I had with my wife and 2 kids in order to take the leap into doing my business full time. Finding additional work to supplement that cash flow and the savings that you have, but making sure it's not taking all your time away from building your business is super important if that's something that you need. Now, this could be something as simple as nannying for kids down the street, pet sitting, selling things on eBay, selling things on Facebook Marketplace, selling things on Etsy like I did. It doesn't really have to be a specific thing. It's just, okay, as an entrepreneur, I'm all about trying to bring in extra money, and how can I bring in some additional income to cover these expenses while I'm building this business up even bigger. Now, number 5 is belief. I realize that the past couple of steps that I told you are really kind of some safe steps that you can take in order to make the leap. And those are things that you should try and have into place. But if you believe in your gut that you're supposed to be an entrepreneur and that you're supposed to build this business up, then do it.
Do it! Just do it!
There's no reason that you shouldn't be doing this. And if your only excuse is that money is an issue, then prove to yourself that you can build this business, get the ball rolling, and once the ball is rolling somewhat, even if it's not covering all your expenses, then just do it.
Make your dreams come true! Just do it!
When you look up the definition of entrepreneur, this is what it says. A person who organizes and operates a business or businesses taking on greater than normal financial risk in order to do so. And basically what that is saying is that you're going after a business, you're building something up that is great. The sky's the limit on how much you can make, but you're taking on financial risk in order to do it. With a job, you know every single month, I have X coming in, my healthcare is covered, this is great, like blah, blah, blah. But as an entrepreneur, that can change every single month. Don't take that in a negative light though, because that means it can change super positive every single month. And you can make a lot more than your full-time job. But the point is if you feel it in your gut, if you feel like God or the universe is calling you to go be an entrepreneur and to start your own business, then you need to go and do that and figure out how to do that as quickly as possible. Me personally, I was in a position where I was only making $40,000 a year at my full-time job. I had a wife, I had a child, I had a second one that was on the way, and I was trying to figure out, crap, my expenses are going up. I want to start my own business, but how do I do this? And my wife and I talked about it and we're like, you know what? We have these 2 clients, they're making about $2,000 a month, like, let's just do it. And that was definitely not covering all of our expenses, but we knew as long as we worked hard, we knew that we could get this business off the ground and that we could have this business full time and not have to worry about the income coming in from my full-time job. And the crazy thing is about 2 to 3 weeks before I quit my full-time job, I had a prospect reach out to me and it was about the same exact money that I would be losing from having my full-time job. And so that was supplementing all of it all of a sudden. And again, that was a prospect that I had reached out to months and months and months before. I was not expecting them to reach back out to me and say, hey, like, let's do some work together and cover all my expenses and cover the money that I would be losing from my full-time job. So when I'm saying, hey, if you believe that you need to be an entrepreneur and you need to have your own business, then do it. And if it's supposed to happen, it'll all pan out. Don't get me wrong, it's definitely gonna be hard and you're gonna be spending a lot of nights up freaking out that you're not bringing in enough money and you can't cover all the expenses. Like, don't get me wrong, it's hard. But if it's what you're supposed to do, everything will pan out in the end and things will happen and doors will open in order for you to be able to build this business. And I get it, it's not the most financially responsible decision to do that, but sometimes you have to be a little crazy, especially if you want to be an entrepreneur and run your own business. Okay, so number 6, and this is the final one. I know at the beginning I said this was number 7. It's number 6. My list was messed up on my phone. Number 6 is healthcare. Now, no matter how many vitamins or veggies or organic things that we eat, we're still going to get sick. We could still get in a car accident. Things are going to happen, so you have to have healthcare in place in order to take care of yourself and any dependents that you have. When you have a full-time job, it's pretty much just handed to you and you're like,
hey, here's your healthcare.
And you're good. And you just kind of get taken out of your paycheck every single month and you're like,
Sweet, like I got healthcare.
But when you're a business owner and you're doing things by yourself, well, there's really no options out there. When you go on the government healthcare market, like it's absolutely insane. It's like $1,800 a month, and then they don't cover anything until you spent like 20 grand, and you're basically just like burning money at that point.
I'm only burning my half.
So it's just absolutely ridiculous and definitely not the option that you want to do. I know other business owners that do that and they don't have a ton of employees. It's absolutely insane. You're losing money by doing that. Now, what my wife and I do is we have this thing called Christian Healthcare Ministries. But basically, every single month we pay about $450, and then we have a quarterly payment. I think it's like $30 every single month that breaks down to. But with this company, you can put your money into this pot, basically, and if you need to take money out of it for your healthcare stuff, you can take out of it. And basically, we pay $450 a month. If we have a healthcare issue that is over $500, then they'll cover all of it completely. If it's under $500, we have to pay for all of it, and they don't cover dental. So that's the real hard part with this, is there's no real dental plan, but they cover pretty much all the healthcare. But if it's over $500, they cover all your healthcare, which is honestly a better deal than having healthcare with your full-time job, because you have co-pays and like you have to reach a certain minimum before they start covering things. It's just crazy. I have really enjoyed Christian Healthcare Ministries. It's saved us a bunch of money. And along with that, you don't have the penalty of not having healthcare on your taxes at the end of the year. Now, I understand President Trump has gotten rid of that, so it's not really something you have to worry about right now, but it's good to have for the future in case that does come back. Now, those are the 6, not 7, things that you need to have in place in order to quit your full-time job and start your business. Again, don't get me wrong, it's crazy, it's a lot of risk, but the reward that you get from working hard is so much more beneficial than working hard every single day at a full-time job where your pay is stuck at the same rate unless someone above you likes you and wants to give you a pay raise. So even though on the books it looks a little scary, I would highly recommend starting your own business, especially in the world that we live in right now where everything is so easily accessible and you can access literally anyone or anything across the entire globe. So I would highly recommend starting your own business, but make sure you have some stuff in place before doing it. If you have any questions about how to start your own business and quit your full-time job, or any other things that you need in place, or have a question about Christian Healthcare Ministries, leave a comment below and I'll be sure to get back to you and answer your question. If you've gotten some kind of value out of this video, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe and continue to follow my channel. I'll be coming out with some more videos on business, on money, on how to save, those kind of things. So that's all I got, and I'll see you in the next video.